Well, thank you for staying with us here on Politics Today on Channels Television. We told you before we went on that break, the leadership situation, the tussle in APGA, is a situation on ground that we will be talking about tonight. That particular case is in court, and Chief Victor Umeh has gone to court seeking that particular stay of execution on that particular judgment. And I have him in the studio with me, Chief Victor Umeh. Thank you for joining us on the program. Earlier on, I told you that we'll be talking about it. The other man, Mr. Maxio, who is standing by in our Abuja studio, will soon get to him as the discussion continues. Thank you. We've seen so much of leadership crises, situation in APGA. It's been almost 10 or 12 years we've seen this, something that actually led the likes of Mr. Chekwas Okori out of the party. Why again and again we are seeing this?
Well, some time ago I came here and I told you that crisis will remain inevitable in political organizations because political parties have all kinds of members, people who play by the rules and people who do not play by the rules. In all situations, you must see people contending for one thing or the other against each other. From what you just showed us, in Ogun State yesterday, APC had parallel Congress, yesterday. It's part of the crisis we're talking about. So APGA is not alone in political squabbles. Virtually all political parties have had it in Nigeria. The PDP, there was new PDP. At the time, there is only one PDP. It goes on and on and on. But quite frankly, APGA's own, I agree with you, has been perennial.
Why has it stayed this long? Why is it perennial? Why has APGA not been able to resolve its own issue when it comes to the chairmanship seat?
No, we have a party where some people have taken it upon themselves to willfully disobey court decisions. And they think that everything is politics. So long as you can spring up one factional action here and there, you continue to get attention, and people see it as a way of doing business, Once you start problem, you start making money in political parties because there are people who give you money to continue what you are doing. Even people from outside your party who want to sustain such fighting to destabilize the party.
A lot of people will say Victor Umeh has his eyes so much on the national chairmanship seat of APGA for several years now. You remember what happened between yourself and Chekwas Okori? He was your good friend. What happened? That he left the party for you, and now you still have your eyes fixed on that particular seat?
No, my tenure is for 2 terms of 4 years each. That will be 8 years. And my tenure will come to an end 10th February 2015. So I'm actually 10 months away from the end of my tenure. But people have continued to say things that are not correct in the media. I've been chairman for 15 years. Remember that this party was registered in 2002. And up to January 2005, Chekwas Okori was the chairman. So even if you take it from there, you now see that what they're saying is not correct. I was first elected chairman 2nd December 2006 for first 4 years. That one lapsed in December 2010. It was renewed for another 4 years on 10th February 2011. That will lapse on 10th February 2015. And remember that my brother, Governor Obi of Anambra State, then governor of Anambra State, became governor 17th of March 2006. And I became chairman of the party 2nd December 2006. So his tenure of 8 years just ended 17th of March 2014. And somebody is saying that I have overstayed. It's just propaganda.
What is it that you have against Mr. Maxio, who since your tenure is going to elapse anyways? What do you have about that particular convention that held last year, April? It's almost a year now.
Well, it's rather what Maxio is looking for, not what I have against him. You recall that February 2013, last year, towards the end of February, I was in this studio. He was anchored in Abuja when he, from nowhere, get crashed into APGA. and said the National Caucus of APGA had made him interim national chairman in an attempt to execute the judgment of Enugu State High Court, which was delivered on 8 February 2013, that removed our leadership of the party. Heated to that judgment, there was no news about Mike Zioku in APGA. On 8th, because he was national chairman of CPP from 2005 to 2013. He was national chairman of another party. He wasn't operating in APGA.
So how could he have come from a Congress and emerge as a chairman if he was a member of, he was a chairman of another party?
Well, like I said, he said he was brought in February 2013 to become chairman of APGA because of the judgment of the Enugu State High Court presided by the Chief Judge. And I recall that in this studio, I was asking him questions over there in Abuja, telling him that there was nothing like national caucus in our party, electing a national chairman for the party. So from day one, his journey into APGA was illegal. The way he took off was illegal. And like you asked me, what problem do I have with the convention he had on 8th of April 2013? The story is that the journey started from the judgment of the Chief Judge of Enugu State, delivered on February 8, 2013, which removed our leadership of the party. I was the only person sued. You can recall that. I went on appeal against the judgment on several grounds and filed a motion for stay of execution of same judgment at the Court of Appeal in Enugu Division then. The stay of execution was argued on 25th March 2013, and the Court of Appeal reserved ruling to 8th of April. On that 25th of March, Marxist group brought in application for joinder in the appeal. It was the motion for joinder was not right for hearing. It was also adjourned to April 8th for hearing, motion for joinder. On the 8th of April, the Court of Appeal delivered its ruling on the stay of execution and granted that stay of execution of that Enugu State High Court judgment that day and make an order of maintenance of status quo antebellum, pending the determination of the appeal against the Enugu State judgment before the Court of Appeal in Enugu. On that 8th April, Mike Zioku and his group purported to have held a convention where he claimed he was elected. And you can see the conflict now.
All right, just a moment. Thankfully, we have now Mr. Mark Zioku now joining us from our Abuja studio. It's a pleasure having you join us tonight on the program. You've been hearing Mr. Chief Umeh talk about that convention that brought you as the chairman of APGA. He has faulted it. He said it's a fraudulent one. What do you have to say to this, Mr. Oku?
In the first place, we have other audio challenges here. That's number one. Half of what was said, I didn't hear it. But to just respond to what you have said, you don't try a case in the channel TV or AIT or on the page of the newspaper. A case is tried by lawyers before a properly constituted law court. As it stands, the fact of the matter is that there is a judgment. I don't want to go into brickbats. I don't want to go into propaganda. I don't want to go into stories. The fact of the matter is that the judgment of a court of law declaring that the convention held in Oka on the 8th of April is valid. An appeal on that judgment was dismissed on the 5th of July last year, making it by Order 11, Rule 5 of the Court of Appeal rules a judgment of the Court of Appeal. That is as considered that one. We subsequently went, myself and a few others, on behalf of the executive elected at the series of congresses and convention of last year, took an action seeking certain reliefs and declarations. Judgment was entered on the 15th of January this year, and the court found for us on all grounds. The issue is before the Court of Appeal as we speak. In the next 48 hours or 72 hours, that is Tuesday, Umeh and Shinkafi filed an appeal on the judgment, the announced judgment debtors, and in fact facing prosecution for contempt of court. A Form 48 has been issued against them. So in the next few hours, there will be a trial on appeal of all these issues being thrown about the papers, you don't win a case in the papers. You don't win on TV. You win it before judges trained to deal with the matter. So as a lawyer, I will not engage in matters that are before the court that may result in contempt or trying to overreach the court. The matter, both sides have filed their briefs and everything has been entered. We take a day before the court on 29th at Abuja here. These are the facts of law, not rumor, not propaganda, not spin.